This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Thanks for watching. Welcome to The Good Ride, where we're making mediocre matter, one good setup at a time. I'm James Beastie, and this is the Telos BackSlash 148 little guy. And I rode this in a wide variety of conditions. Everything from semi-hard, but still fun, firm, and fair groomers, all the way up to a decent amount of powder. Not a lot, but good enough to get a taste there. Even had some time with my drift boards. And I compared this against the Yes Hybrid, the Libtech Orca, the GNU Gremlin, and a few other shorter, kind of fun to ride boards that I had in my quiver at the time. And gotta say, to give this a short summary, it held up really well against those and did a really good job. It's a very poppy, very energetic, but bucky and small, not ideal powering through uneven terrain, but that's a common failing with short boards like this, but very slashy too. So being massively behind on reviews can sometimes have its advantages. Time dragged on, and I actually got on the 153, and I was thinking in the review of the 148 that I might like the 53 better. It turns out I like the 148 better. The 53 was really fun and really fast and damp, especially for a 53, but it was just definitely too big for my boot size, size 9. I just felt like I was working really hard to get that thing to turn, and to keep it turning, I just felt like my toes were pressing as hard as they could at the end of my binding, which was still a good distance from that edge, to get it to work and turn and do what it's supposed to do, where the 148 felt much better for my specs. I wish they did the sizing every 3 centimeters or even 2 centimeters instead of every 5 centimeters, because I would love if, let's say, the 48 came in a 47 instead, and they had a 150 and 153, 157, and so on and so forth, because I think I would love something in like a 150 that might just eliminate some of those bucky issues I had with the 148, but now I know for certain the 148's my board in the sizing they have now, and it's a really good fit for me. If you're much bigger in boot size than I am at size 9 US, and you weigh a little more, you're definitely gonna love the 153. It's definitely for a bigger boy than me, especially in boot size. When it comes to shape, tapered, directional, but it didn't feel super tapered, and it didn't feel like total back foot drivey. You felt like you could flirt with being centered on a turn, and it was fine there, and I like that feel, but it really is tapered and directional. There's a decent amount of camber underfoot, going to a little bit of early rise, and it felt great one footing off the chair. Flat basing, skidding out a turn was pretty easy for this. I didn't think it was the easiest. It's kind of, you know, stable, bordering on being semi-technical. You can catch an edge with this, but it's less likely than, let's say, just full-on camber. And when it comes to flex, you've got just such a cool flex. It's kind of like medium stiff, kind of medium to medium stiff in the nose, a little softer in the nose than the center, and the tail's a little stiffer, but it was really easy to butter. It really pops well. It's really easy to generate your own air with this thing. It's a pop machine, just very lively, very poppy, very fun. It kind of had that pop magic that the Telos DST split had, but in a small, short, wide board. And as far as speed goes, the base had pretty decent glide. Not amazing, but definitely not bad, above average. And when it came to just pointing it, it's a small board, and I'm a big guy on a small board, but if you're a little lighter, I think this would quiet down a little bit more. So when it comes to uneven terrain, it's good and bad. And it's good in this aspect. Riding all day, it doesn't get cranky, it doesn't send up like reverse chatter into your joints, it doesn't get cranky at slow speeds and hard micro bumpy snow or anything like that. It's got good dampness for its size, but if you wanted to power through like some hard bumps or some bumpy terrain and you really just wanted to just jam through it, it's gonna buck and bounce you around. But it turns through messy snow and tracked up snow really well if you slow it down and you just wanna go edge to edge really quick and avoid those messy spots and weaving it out of moguls or something like that. This does an amazing job here, and it doesn't get cranky, so that's good. Because some boards can just change their personality when the snow gets bad, and this doesn't. It keeps its core personality throughout all conditions that I rode. When it comes to edge hold, it's pretty good. It can handle some hard snow. There's no visible disruption that I can see, so whatever's going on is subtle but working, and I liked it in hard snow. I had to dial back my turns a little bit and try to work on getting some twist going, but it still did a really good job for what it is. When it comes to turn initiation, super fast. I mean, I was like, usually short wide boards, they don't turn super fast in the initial part of the turn. Once you get the side cut engaged, then they kind of accelerate because they usually have deeper side cuts. This little guy turned quick, initiated to turn quick, and kept going. So it was really fun. When it comes to turning experience, this can do a little bit of everything, but really shines on those little quick, slashy turns, and it really likes circle carves and across the groomer carves. But I was surprised at how well a little board could get going with these kind of turns, like down the line, long drawn out S turns. It did okay at it, better than I thought it would for this kind of board. So it's more on the balanced to a little bit of a turny side, and I really like that turning experience, and it carves really hard and pops out of a turn great. It's a fun board for jump turns and that kind of thing. Now powder, you know, a board this small with not a massive amount of setback, but a good amount of setback, does a pretty good job. And with the powder that I had, it did a pretty good job. I didn't take it out on those super deep days. I wanted to get on other boards I was testing at the time, so I didn't really stress test this in deep powder, but it was great on my back with my drift boards, and I got into probably about like this much powder and it was doing fine. But overall, I think this is a very balanced board for groomers and powder riding, and I would say it's best as a quiver board, but really not a bad like one board solution if you're into that like shorter, wider kind of ride and you want something quick and poppy and slashy. I had a really good time with this, and it held its own against all the favorites that are of similar sizes. I find this a very recommendable, fun ride. All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight, and we're free to say whatever we want. We send back everything unless it's a favorite, then we ask to keep those or straight up buy them. Now, if you need advice, fill out the eHarmony profile in the Contact Us section of the site. It's the only way I can help you properly. If you want to support us, and if what we reviewed appeals to you, it helps if you buy through our links. So, thanks for watching.